Welcome to A Teaspoon of Healing. I'm your host, Dawn Damari. Hi, I'm Dawn Damari, and you're listening to another episode of A Teaspoon of Healing. Today I have a guest with me, Petia. Petia is a business coach for women. How are you doing today?
I'm doing wonderful, and what a highlight of my day really is to be here today with you, Dawn. Thank you.
Well, thank you. It's a highlight of my day as well to be interviewing you, Petia.
Thank you.
So I looked at your bio, and you have a very interesting bio, and I follow your Instagram, and I love all your posts and your videos, especially with your baby, and wanted to talk about a couple things. On your Instagram and in your bio, you have some information about worthiness. What suggestions do you have for people who are trying to cultivate more feelings of worthiness in their life?
Yeah, I feel like the worthiness is truly just the basic of it all. It's the basis of it all. When you think about it, when you don't see yourself worthy, it's not like you wake up and you say like, oh, I don't feel worthy today. Very often when we don't feel that, they're just like a symptoms, and it shows in our life, like the type of relationships we have, the things that we are saying yes to, and we are feeling like, no, we don't want to do that. Just not prioritizing ourselves, people pleasing, undercharging if you have a business, not really speaking your truth, not really showing up, being afraid to dream because you don't want to be disappointed, and you have a fear of failure. And it's very funny, but also on my journey, I notice it myself and also on my clients. There is also a fear of success. We fear of what success would bring because we think that it would take a lot of time, a lot of hours away from family, too much technology, overwhelmed. And so it's really these symptoms when we look at our life. It very often stems in not feeling really worthy, not feeling worthy of being seen, being heard, being unapologetic, being abundantly paid to be yourself, living your dreams, being loved, respected in relationships, not sacrificing. I mean, life always comes with giving, right? Giving and taking. However, it's like not sacrificing your truest desires and just like basic needs, like being loved and respected and seen. I feel like that's such a basic, but it hasn't been always this way. Like I was feeling unworthy. I was feeling unlovable. I was feeling that I'm just a waste of space. And it's something that I had to learn to work on. And when I was able to switch it and turn it around in my life, my beliefs, my mindset, now I can be teaching it to women. And most of the women who come to me, they want to be helping others. So I feel like it's such a responsibility for me to empower other women to live their dreams, to be abundantly paid to be themselves, to build businesses that really support their life and not just their life supporting their business. That's what I'm seeing, women burn out, tired, working long hours away from, their loved ones and really not enjoying what it could be. And like I said, it all comes from feeling worthy.
And do you have any suggested steps, like maybe just some first steps for a woman who is struggling with some of these things that you had mentioned, people pleasing and saying no? What are a couple things that a woman could start to do to kind of take her power back and get that worthiness back into her?
That's a really great question, Don. And I'm feeling that like the very first step, it's truly to look at your current reality. What are you living right now? And how does it feel? Because if you're living your life, and if I would ask you, and I do ask this very often to the women who are hiring me as their coach, like if nothing ever changes in your life, are you okay with that? And most of them, they look like horrified, like, no, I'm not okay with it. I'm like, you see, but if nothing changes, nothing changes. And we think that, oh, let me just get this. Like when I have more clients, when I have more money, when I sleep better, when my body changes, when this and this and this, and we're living in a wonderland instead of like coming and being present and really asking ourselves, like looking at your reality. How's your health? How are your relationships? How is your relationship with money? Not just relationship with people, but relationship with money. How are you treating yourself? Because the way we are treating ourselves, we're teaching others how to treat us. So if you're looking at your current reality and you don't like what you're seeing and feeling, pick one area, because if we want to change everything, from day to day, then it can be really overwhelming. But if we can choose one area and focus on that, like, how can I feel better in this area? What can be changed? What can be shifted? What can be passed? What can be delegated? What can be let go? Sometimes we just gotta love people from far away, So
Mhm.
sometimes when I say this, it sounds like, like get divorced, move to the beach, and like quit your job. And I know it sounds tempting. Trust me, I love the tropical and white sand beaches. We lived in last year with my husband in Tulum, Mexico, so I love the white sand beaches.
Oh, nice.
But the thing is that wherever you go, you take yourself with you. And so sometimes when my clients tell me like, oh, I'll just quit this job and find something else, or I will just quit this job and do my own business because, like people treat me terribly, or
Mhm.
I will just quit this relationship and find someone better. Well, you get to first do the inner work. Like start, like I said, do an inventory of your life. Look at the areas that you would like to improve, and also simultaneously really look at the areas that are working in your life, because sometimes we're looking at what is wrong, what is not working, and then we feel like bad day is making bad life,
Mhm.
instead of looking at, okay, my health is okay, that's great, let's celebrate that, let's celebrate what is working, and then what would I like to improve, what would I like different, what would I like even better. So it's not like my whole life suck and like I don't want to adult, right?
Mhm.
Trust me, we all have those days,
Mhm.
especially when you don't get sleep with a baby.
Oh,
You don't want to
yes.
adult. But the thing is that you really get to look at it like objectively and really ask yourself, like, what can I do a little bit better? And really waking up and listen, before I had my baby girl, she's 3.5 months now. I had like 2 hours morning routine and journaling and workouts, and forget it now.
Mhm.
It's like I wake up
Mhm.
and she has my boob in her mouth and I'm done. So
Mhm.
now it's just really about being with myself and my body, and it can be just a couple minutes. Like even when she's like, on my breast and she's feeding, I just
Mhm.
put the other hand on my chest, and I'm like, what am I grateful for right now? What am I grateful today? What is the one thing I will do for myself today? And maybe it's just like asking my husband to watch her for 30 minutes so I can drink a warm tea, for
Mhm.
change, or go for a walk alone, or take a shower, without interruptions. It's just like these things like become such a treasure and we take them for granted. But like one thing that I will do for myself, and then I ask myself, what is one thing I'm excited for today? Maybe it is going for a walk with my daughter, maybe it's cuddling my dog, maybe it's calling my mom to Europe. Like what is one thing I'm excited for? Because very often we wake up in the morning and we are thinking like, oh, what do I have to do today? And we just get in our head and we're overwhelmed before we even get our like feet out of the bed. So this is something that anyone can do, no matter how busy or not busy you are, no matter like who you are with and where. You can do it when you're traveling, when you're at home, when you are at peace, when you're not at peace. Couple minutes to check with yourself, what am I grateful for? What is one thing I will do only for myself today? And what am I excited for? And this is so related to the worthiness when you think about it, Dom, because if you wake up in the morning and you're just thinking about like, oh, I have to do this, and you're grabbing your phone, and it's just like you're giving away your power. You're giving it to the world. You are not feeling worthy to even breathe,
Mhm. Yeah.
So the way you start your day, it's going to determine how the rest of your day will be going. Because even if you face challenges throughout your day, if you wake up with these questions, and like I said, even a couple minutes of breathing just for yourself, connecting to your body, connecting to yourself, it is going to really change your vibration, your energy, how you're seeing yourself, how you're seeing the world. And you will be able to respond with more clarity and with better perspective.
I really liked that. And thank you for going into that, because that's really important. Like you said, when you start your day, think about what you're grateful for and what do you want, what are you excited about the day, rather than getting bogged down in what you have to do. That's really important. And I think a lot of us forget about that. And I also liked how you discussed, your previous routine before you had kids, before you had your baby. You were able to devote a lot more time, but now with your 3.5-month-old, you don't really get that time in the morning, but you were still able to practice gratitude while you're nursing or while you're doing other things. And that's great. I think that's really inspirational. Now,
Thank
you had
you.
mentioned something in the previous question, you had mentioned something about women, because you coach women, being afraid of success. Can we talk about that one a little bit more? Because I think I've had that a little bit before, and it's really interesting.
Yeah, it's so interesting because I was thinking that people are afraid of failure, but I
Mm-hmm.
realized, like, on myself and also on women that I work with, that there is also fear of success. Because I used to say, like, oh, I would never want to be an entrepreneur because entrepreneurs, they sacrifice their family. They're never home. They're, like, burned out and hustling and working hard. And I never want to do that. And then, here I am. Like, I get fired from my corporate and, starting second business now. So now I'm in my second business, like sixth year, but I
Oh,
never planned for that. But there was this fear of success. Like, I was thinking it will take too much away from the things like I appreciate, like nature and family and well-being and health. And then I realized throughout my journey that it's just a story. And it's up to me what kind of story I want to be telling, because now I'm teaching women how to be working less with more simplicity. And I'm not saying that owning a business, it's easy, but you can make it simple for yourself. You get to step into the CEO role and really learn how to trust others, how to delegate, how to ask yourself what only you can do, and really trust yourself with the unfolding and divine timing for everything. Because I feel like sometimes we plan, and if the things don't go exactly as we plan, we feel like, everything is bad and nothing is working. And so it's really about looking at, if you're not where you want to be, whether it's in your relationships, finances, health, whatever it is. Because when I teach women about abundance, it's truly holistic abundance. I don't believe in teaching you how to make more money and then you're burnout and sacrificing relationships and you end up alone and bitter.
mm-hmm.
I don't
Mm-hmm.
believe in that. I believe in holistic abundance. When you're healthy, when you're deeply caring about yourself and your environment and your loved ones and enjoying the time that you have instead of just hustling and working hard. Like, I'm working 2 to 3 days a week and I have multiple 5-figure months, something that I
Yes.
could not imagine before I started my business. I thought that only others can do it, but not me. But let me tell you, Dan, if I can do it, this girl from very small town in Czech Republic with unpronounceable name, anyone can do it.
Well, I think that's wonderful. And thank you for that. And I wanted to ask you a little bit about your journey and your background. So, how did you end up becoming a business coach for a woman? What's your story?
Dan, if I would believe in accidents, I would say it was an accident. I definitely didn't plan for it. And it's just, I feel like it was like the universe, was just like putting the breadcrumbs in front of me, like, getting fired from a job and really looking into personal development and reading more and, learning about self-love. And then, having like being very burnout with my first business because I had social media marketing agency and I feel like I was working like from, I don't know, from down to down. It was like crazy.
Mhm.
And the second business, I allow myself more feminine flow, more ease, more time with myself. And I started to make really great money and attracting women who wanted to be helping other people. And that was really fulfilling for me. So I started to build a business and I was working only like 3 days a week. And I'm like, wow, like this is really possible. I don't have to hustle and do 7 days a week. And then, women started to come to me and asking me, how do you do that? How do you, how did you build your business? And so I started answering and responding to that really as a right generator that I am in human design. I started to responding to those. And I realized how deeply satisfying for me it is not doing just social media. And then I was doing life and mindset coaching, but business coaching for women, because I want women to create richness in their life on all levels. And I want them to do that on their own terms, which very often means that you don't want to be at 8 to 5.
Mhm.
You want to have your freedom. You want to travel. You want to build a life that it's on your own terms, and usually business can allow you that.
Yes, that's wonderful. And so, if you meet a new woman, say you have a client, I know you don't want to give away all of your secrets or what you teach women, but as far as sharing with the listeners of this podcast, if a woman is considering starting a business, what are some of the first things that you would suggest her to do?
And Dan, you can like ask me anything and I will answer anything,
Oh,
because
okay.
I don't believe that we can give everything away, because even if I tell you exactly, like even if we are sitting here for a couple more hours and I will explain you how to start your business, how to do your social media, how to attract your client, all of that, usually women who come to me, they don't come to me to have all of the answers. They come to me for mentorship, for
Mhm.
having someone who can help them with a mindset, with a perspective, with the shifts, with clarity, so it's not, I'm not afraid to give it all. So I feel like for women who wanted to start their, business, I usually work with women who already have business and they want to grow and expand. But
Okay.
if you're, someone who is thinking about, like starting your own business, I feel like it's really important to really, and this is just the energetic work of it, not the strategic part. I feel like strategy is always just a cherry on the top, because we can sit, for 1 hour intensive and I can map out your business and programs and pricing and everything. But I feel like it really starts with the energetics and really understanding, why do you want to be doing it, and who do you want to be doing it with, and who do you really want to be working with? Like really understanding yourself, not trying to model other people, not trying to be like everybody else, but really trusting yourself and understanding that you're perfectly made for your purpose. The way you are, the uniqueness, your unique flavor, that's what's going to help you to build a business that is going to be successful, not when you're copying anyone else, like doing it like this or this person. Like even when my clients come to me, I don't teach them like, oh, you have to do what I did so you're successful. I teach them their own blueprint. I help them. And, I use like somatic healing, like breath work or inner dance, but I'm also using neurolinguistical programming so we can really work with their subconscious mind, their mindset. So there is a lot of work that goes into that, because I always say, like, you can go on Google or YouTube and find how to start your own business, and it's cheaper than working with me. But having overall like support and mentorship, someone who is there with you every step of the way on all of the areas of your life, that's what's going to create really the soulful success, not just more money in a bank account.
That's wonderful. And you had mentioned breath work, and I know you also work with meditation. And how can someone incorporate that into discovering their purpose or refining their business?
I feel like, it's so funny because like I'm pivoting now too. And for me, it was just bigger life change, like having a daughter.
Mhm.
And like, I feel like you really get to ask yourself, like, how do you feel? Like, if you want to like change your business, like sometimes we have a feeling that we want to like burn it to the ground. Trust me, been there a couple times.
Mhm.
And it's really about coming back to yourself. What is bringing you joy? What are you curious about? What are people asking you for? What do you really want to be like bringing more of? And sometimes it's not like changing the whole business, but maybe bringing another aspect. Like I'm bringing another aspect to my business, and it's motherhood. And, like clients who are hiring me are mothers or want to be mothers and are really inspired on how I work. And that's the thing. Like, people are not going to hire you exactly for what do you do, right? It's going to be how do you do it. And there are professions that you do, like, I don't know, like a dentist or doctor, like, you hire them for what they do. But very often in like a service-based industry, it's people hire you for how do you do things. Like, you can make six figures or multiple six figures a year, and you can be hustling and working hard and sacrificing your health and family and well-being, or you can do the same amount of money and do it with more simplicity and ease. So that's what I'm teaching clients, like really asking themselves, like going within, understanding their own unique journey. And I use also a lot of human design. It helps me bring clarity into my clients, because it's a beautiful system that help you understand your blueprint. It, uses I Ching and Kabbalah and astrology, and really looking at who you came here to be. So it's very unique, like I said, very unique flavor that you have. So just allowing yourself to change when your life changes, change with it.
I love that. And so with human design, for some people listening, it might be difficult to describe it really quickly, but just in a nutshell, what is human design?
So human design, it's a beautiful system that all you really need. And listen, you can just look at Google, or you can look at my
Yes.
Instagram, because I have free chart there too. You can, I think it's on my website too. Get your free human design chart. But it's basically like a body graph that is going to show you, based on your birthday, birth time, and birthplace,
Mhm.
where were the planets. So that's the piece of the astrology. Where were the planets?
Oh,
How you were influenced. They call them like neutrinos. It's like a particles that were flowing through when you were born in that exact time, the moment that you took your breath. That's why it's important to have your exact time when you were born, because it's going to create you like a graph, like a chart that you can look at, like a body graph. And it's going to show you who you came here to be. What are your gifts? What is your personality? How do you work with others? There's just so many things that can tell you. I didn't find any other system that can go in such a depth that really was like, wow, like this is me. Anytime that I was doing readings, like people were like, wow, like this is so me. I feel so seen. So it's not telling you who to be, but it's more of like an experiment, like, like really coming into the life and experimenting and experiencing. But it's give you like more clarity on how do you work in the world? What is your gift? What is your purpose? How do you work with others? What do you need to thrive and really go in a path of least resistance? I feel like that's the biggest gift of that. Like, what is the path of least resistance, and doing that, because some things come to us naturally. And sometimes we do things that, we can do anything, but we were conditioned to be that way and do it that way. And that's not our natural way. So it's coming back to yourself, I would say.
I have to look into that. That sounds really interesting.
Yeah. Message me on Instagram. I can send you the link to the free chart, and I can also give you the link for the reading if you're interested. And I can create a special link for, with a discount for your listeners if they want to.
Sure, I will do that for sure. Now, as far as what you do, I guess describe maybe for our listeners your program a little bit and what you do.
Absolutely. So right now, what really brings me joy, it's working one-on-one with women. After the new year, I will be also launching online program. But right now, I'm working one-on-one with women, and I really help them to bring in more richness into all areas of their life, and to really become magnetic in their personal and professional life, so they can really live the life that is true to them, to their desires, and of course, creating even more abundance in their life on a financial level too. So they have the freedom to be and do whatever they want to be.
I love that. And so people can get in touch with you through your Instagram.
Yes.
Your Instagram is, I don't remember what it is. I believe it's just your first and last name.
It's just my first and last name, Petia Kolibova, the same. It's my website, petiakolibova.com, and or also on my podcast, Unapologetically Abundant.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was going to ask you about your podcast. So it's Unapologetically Abundant. Great.
Yes.
So people should check that out. Love to plug other podcasts.
Thank you.
And so people can find out more information about you and your services. They can find it on your website and on your Instagram. I know you're pretty active on there.
Yes.
That's great. Well, I really thank you for coming on the podcast today. Before we sign off, is there anything else you would like to share with the listeners?
I feel like I want to just circle back into what I said in our talk to really remember you're perfectly made for your purpose. Because when you do that, what does it say is that who you are, who you're being, and who you're becoming, it's perfect. So not trying to change, not trying to be like everybody else, but truly understand and embracing your uniqueness, because that's what's creating the inner peace and the outer richness of your life.
Well, that's fantastic. I think that's great because so many of us in society, it's very easy to look at what other people are doing and saying, "Oh gosh, that's really working for that person," and then kind of trying to use that as a blueprint. But instead, to look at oneself and bring out the uniqueness that each of us have, and using that as our blueprint, and being more authentic to ourselves.
Yes.
Excellent. Well, again, thank you, Petia, for coming on the podcast. I really appreciate this discussion and the wisdom that you've shared. And everyone, please check out her website and her Instagram, petiakolibova.com. And thank you. And I hope you have a good rest of your day.
Thank you so much, Dawn. You have an amazing day. And please let me know when you're launching this so I can also reshare it, okay?
Oh, definitely. I will. Thank you again.
Thank you. Have a good day. Bye.
You too. Bye.
Susan, you remember the time we were in Orange County? We were driving around and we got lost, and we ran into this place called
Avila's El Ranchito.
You remember the place? The place had awesome decor and authentic margaritas.
Did you know that Avila's El Ranchito has been around since 1966? They have 13 locations throughout Orange County. Visit Salvador Avila's location in Lake Forest and Foothill Ranch for great food, ambiance, and specialty margaritas.
This podcast is for informational purposes only and does not constitute medical advice. Please consult a physician or other health professional before undertaking changes in lifestyle or wellness habits. The author claims no responsibility to any person or entity for any liability, loss, or damage caused or alleged to be caused directly or indirectly as a result of use, application, or interpretation of the information presented herein.